about that one.
Okay, so you had told me that
I
you were
just
doing
asked her a question, and then you jumped in.
I thought you were asking me a question. Go right ahead.
No, I
I'm
was
sorry.
asking
I
her.
apologize. Please.
Oh, yes. Okay. So drift away.
Oh, apparently it was me.
So drift away. I love Dobie Gray. I didn't know he didn't actually write that song. He had covered it, and that's when it blew up. And so
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that actually all this time. I've been crediting him with writing the song, but he did not write the tune. So anyway, but he covered it and it blew up, and I've loved it ever since I was a kid. I used to listen to him and that song on my mom's record player when I was a kid. And it's just, I don't know, it's one of those tunes that I've just loved always. And so I wanted to cover it, and I wanted to do something a little different with it. And so we just kind of started messing with it in the studio. I wasn't sure. I kind of went through a couple of different iterations of that tune, because I started out having it be mostly piano based and slow. And then I was like, I feel like we could do something to speed this up. And then took it into the studio and we messed with it. And the guys were like, yeah, let's try, this. And so we went down that route, and then it came out really cool. And there's a bunch of horns that play on it. All these Arizona guys that play horns that are amazing. And PH was a big part of the reason that tune sounds like it does, because he had this kind of vision for the horn section in particular. And Jeff and I were like, yeah, horns, take them or leave them, it's fine, And I always love horns because I started as a trumpet player, but I wasn't so gung-ho about horns on this tune, as ultimately it ended up being the exact right thing to put on the song. I mean, it came out so cool. So I think the horns sort of make the song, actually. So it was really cool. And I got to play piano on it, which I'm no piano player, but it was fun to get to play a little bit of keys, because I don't usually do that. So yeah, it was a good song. I think it came out great. I'm getting good feedback on it. People are seeming to like it, and it's going pretty well. It just came out this last week, so it hasn't been out for very long.
You had told me that you did a cover song, but I was not expecting, I was expecting this to be an original for some reason. When I pulled it up, I just thought, I bet she's going to do something cool with this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I know this song. It's a cover.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's reggae feel. I was like,
yeah, it's got kind of a soul thing going, you know?
Yeah, it had just a cool thing going on, which is different than the versions I've heard of it. Because there's quite a few versions out there. So
yeah,
that made it different. And then the horns, like you're saying, that was kind of a cool touch, because I've also never heard horns played during that song. So that's cool. So my question is this, and this is related to songwriter publishing royalty questions. Tell us about how you chose the song, which you kind of already did. And then tell us how you're managing the royalty restrictions, rules, guidelines related to this song.
Yeah, so that's a good question. And for musicians who, I never actually gotten this question from family members and stuff too. Just curious, if you do a cover song, how does that work? If you're covering somebody else's tune. This is the only one I've ever done, so I'm learning as well. But my record label handles that piece of things for me. And so the way that it works, though, as far as my sort of newbie limited understanding of all of this stuff, is there are the original writer would get a little fraction of a cent, right? Because there's always this writer share of the royalties that are floating around out there, all these little fractions of pennies that, people get from Spotify or whatever. And so there are performance royalties and there are writers share royalties. And so the performance is mine, and so anything related to the performance royalties come to me, but I didn't write the song, I just did the arrangement. And so the original writer of the lyrics gets a little fraction of a cent every time we play it, or it gets played on YouTube or whatever, somebody performs it out in the world. So that's how that works. And that's one thing that's been great about having a label, is that they handle collection of all of that stuff. So they'll deal with the licensing issues in doing a cover song, because you have to, there's some licensing things involved with making sure that if you're going to put a video, there's sync licensing. So if you're going to put a video to that song, it's one thing to record an audio recording and put it out in the world. But if you want to put a video to it, there's a whole nother side of things that you have to deal with. And because we did a music video for it, that's a piece of what they needed to wade through and handle for us as well. So I'm not privy to exactly how it works because they handle that piece, but that's the basic idea. Is there's just little fractions of cents floating around, and they go to the people that, the person that wrote the song, the person that performed the song, and so on and so forth.
I've actually been looking at that. And so if you don't have a record company, you can still record a cover like this and release it. There are ways where you can purchase credits ahead of time, so that, say you think you're going to get 5 million spins. So then you purchase those credits, and then you pay for that up front. So then when it's all played, you're not directly paying for it as you're doing it. So I just thought that was interesting and wondered if that's how you went about it or how you did not go about it. So you used a record company, which is awesome, because less work is always better.
Yes, correct. And before I had a record label, I looked into all this stuff too, because I was always interested in doing the song. And so I wanted to understand it. And yeah, the Harry Fox agency, you can go in there and purchase credits for a cover song. And then, like you said, when it gets used up and you've sold X number of records or streams or whatever, and it's used all your credits, you can just go in and buy more credits. And so it's not a hard process. It's hard when you want to put a video to it, because if you want to put a video to it, all of a sudden you have to get a sync license, and that's a whole different thing than a mechanical license. Mechanical license covers the audio recording, sync license covers the video piece, and that part, a lot of times you have to get permission from the original author of the music, and so that can be a little bit more of a challenge. And I'm glad I don't have to deal with that part, because I don't even really know how to go about that side of things. The mechanical license is not too hard to come by. And even YouTube is interesting anyway, because a lot of times you can put stuff out there and they've already negotiated with the artist on some stuff. So it'll say, this song is, you're allowed to use this. You're allowed to put this out there in the world. And it seems like YouTube is kind of going this direction of sort of ask forgiveness, not permission. If they get on you about doing a cover song and, somebody complains and you make $1 bajillion, well, you're probably gonna have to pay some of that out. But, the chances of them getting pissy about it and shutting you down are pretty slim. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing somebody's tune, it's also getting it out there for them as well. So it really is kind of a rising tide raises all ships situation. And I know it's a very new world we're trying to navigate musically, because this isn't something that existed 15 or 20 years ago. We didn't know how to deal with any of this. So I think that all of it's kind of changing, and everybody's sort of learning together how we deal with all this stuff.
So I have a follow-up question. So in general, what are some reasons why an artist would cover a cover?
Why would we release a cover tune just in general as an artist? Yeah. Is that your question?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I think that certain songs resonate with all of us. And I won't do a cover just to do a cover. I'm not just going to do a cover because it gives people, I think that let me back up. So when you do a cover song in a show, it's different, right? Because it is for the purposes of Trashy Annie, we do, 99% original music, and occasionally we throw in a cover. The reason we do that is because until we are big and huge and famous and everybody knows all our songs, people just want something kind of familiar to give their ear a break, because otherwise it doesn't matter how good your music is, you're hitting them with an hour or 2 hours of original stuff. It's just hard for the brain to take all that in. So we like to do a cover every 5 or 6 songs or whatever, just to give people something familiar. But if we're going to do it, I don't want to go out there and try to compete with the person who originally made that tune. You're never going to do it the way they did it, nor should you even try. Do it your way. And so that's how I feel about Drift Away. I was like, I love this tune, but I want to do it our way. And I want to do it as part of the show. And it came out so well. I thought, yeah, let's release this. Let's not just make this a live show tune, because I do some other covers that I'm probably never going to release. But this one was different and special enough to me, and it resonated enough with me that I wanted it to be out in the world with our version, because I think it's one people will like, and we did our own spin on it. So I think there are a lot of reasons people release cover tunes, but for me, that's why I do it, is just this one meant something to me, and I thought we did it in a unique way, and I thought it was cool, and so we wanted to put it out there. But I do some other covers that probably won't ever end up in the studio, and I only do those because I want to do something live that people, have a little familiarity with.
Day after day, I'm more confused. I look for the light through the pouring rain. You know that's a game that I hate to lose, and I'm feeling the strain. Ain't it a shame? Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Beginning to think that I'm wasting time. I don't understand the things I do. The world outside looks so unkind. I'm counting on you to carry me through. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. And when my mind is free, melody can move me. And when I'm feeling blue, the guitar's coming through to soothe me. Thanks for the joy that you've given me. I want you to know I believe in your song. The rhythm, the rhyme, and harmony. You help me along, making me strong. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Oh, give me the beat, boys, and free my soul. I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul.
I remember when you were rebuilding your band, and you were like,
Which time, dude? Which
Well,
time?
the
Like that for
first
the
time we're-
87th time.
yeah, but at one point it was like Ace Ventura when he gets the stake through one leg and gets the stake through the other, and he's going and it's
Yep.
just like, what the hell? But
I feel like it's been through that so many times, and I feel like this is the first time in any iteration of this band where I feel like, okay, I think this is a long-term crew that's gonna stick around for a while, because I got some guys that are they're talented and they're professional, they don't slug the alcohol on stage till they can't stand up, they know the songs, they practice at home and show up to rehearsal to brush things up instead of coming to rehearsal not knowing anything. So I'm glad I've gone through all of the other stuff for the last couple of years, because it gives me such an appreciation for real professional musicians. Because a lot of people don't don't treat it like a job. You know, they show up, they drink a ton, they don't prepare, they get on stage, they kind of half-ass it. It's not that for me. I've got much bigger plans for this band than that, you know? And so I think it's important to have people around me that feel the same way. And it feels good. We just had a really, really good show on Saturday at a really cool new Austin venue called Regal Rooms. And it was the grand opening for the venue, and it's going to be awesome. And we just had a really good show, and it felt really good to have everybody on the same page and kind of with the same goals in mind.
We're always happy when we talk to people multiple times and we get to see the change and the growth. And I think you're going to do a lot of cool shit, man. I'm excited to watch it.
Thank you. I hope so. I'm excited too.
I don't have anything else. I'm just really happy that we got to talk to you tonight. Thank you for making time to talk to us tonight. I know we were trying to do it a little further back, but I wanted to get you before you went on the road and not have to wait till you came back.
Well, I appreciate it. And I always love talking to you guys. And hopefully, you know, we'll keep doing this and keep evolving the story together because it's fun. And, you know, Brent has spent a lot of time with me just talking me through a lot of this stuff. And I'm super appreciative of it because it's nice to have mentors in this business who have done a lot of things. You know, you need to have people that have been down all the various little roads and can share. And I want to be that for other people too, because that's how we all get better. And it's how we all, you know, get where we want to go in this business. And so it's, you know, we can't do it alone. So I'm just always appreciative of you guys. And Brent, you've provided me a lot of insight along the way. And so it's great to be here with you guys for sure.
That was so nice.
Oh, that was so sweet.
It was. Don't tell anyone. I don't want the expectations to change. I want them to be down here. Expectations.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to the Sound Pollution Podcast. We are excited that you joined us again. We really thank Trashy Annie for coming back to our show. She's a longtime supporter, and we love and support her, and we love having her on. Please remember to like, follow, subscribe, share, and download. Go buy the musicians' music. Go buy their merch. Buy our merch. I'm going to make new merch. You should buy that too. Go to our Patreon page. We're not trying to be rich. We would just like to not have 3 jobs. That's all. I can't think of anything else, Brent.
I think you covered it all. Very good.
I covered it all. I think I'm a good girl.
I think you should be proud.
I should be proud. I should be proud. I should be in bed.
You should be proud.
My fucking geriatric ass. All right.
May.
Make some.